So anyway, I wrote Outlaw Anthroposophy, and I sent it to Ann Arbor with a friend, and there were only 23 copies, and it floated around out there. And one of the things that happened subsequent to this is about 4 years later, I got an email from a person who found this material on my website and said that she was certain that this material that had floated around Ann Arbor Conference, there's only 23 copies, in 1997 was what was called subversive. People had been talking about something subversive that had shown up. Now that's an interesting terminology. It's got nothing to do with science. Nothing in science is subversive. The only reason you could have anything subversive in the Anthroposophical Society is if there's parts and aspects of the Anthroposophical Society that are political and ideological. Something which threatens the sacred cows and the ideology that exists in the culture of the Anthroposophical Society, that's going to be called subversive. Although I'm so glad I'm subversive. I'm so subversive. This is the story I didn't know about either. I tottered up in 2005. I finally had the money to go to a conference in Ann Arbor where a lot of the big shots from Dornoch showed up. And they were really, they paired off with North American anthroposophical personalities, leading personalities, and they would give a lecture. You'd had, this guy from Dornoch talking with this guy from America or women or whatever, okay? And they would give a lecture, and there were 6 or 7 of these things. Anyway, at the final plenum, which is sort of the only time that the 600 and some people in the audience actually get up and get to say, well, it's been fun sitting here on my behind. Well, you guys all told me what you think. You mind if I get 5 minutes to tell you what I think? So I tottered up there on the stage. In fact, when we got ready to do this, I got down near the bottom of the stage because I was having a serious attack of my arthritis in my knees. And when I went up there, they wanted me to stand in front of this microphone, and I had to explain to the guy who was moderating this. And I don't think people got it because they didn't hear it, in the audience. They might have thought I was shoving him out of the way. I said, look, you got the lectern. I need the lectern. I got to lean on the lectern. I can't stand here for 5 minutes on these knees. They're in horrible shape. Anyway, so I go up there and I start to talk, and I give my thing that's called the 3 wishes, and you can read it on my website, and I think it's in Dangerous Anthroposophy. And anyway, while I'm talking, and this somebody told me later, one of the bigwigs out of the Anthroposophical Society in America, the guy I think was his secretary or something, he's not a bad guy, but whence this subversive, and so apparently, as I'm talking, he's coming down the right side of the hallway, creeping toward the stage, and the guy that observed this, it looked like he was ready to run up there and pull you off the the stage if you started saying inappropriate things or whatever they thought you were going to do, Anyway, in the book Dangerous Anthroposophy, you'll read some of the essays that I write about things, and we're going to talk about this here. But anyway, let's just do... I got to make some notes. I'm not doing a very good job of keeping track of time here. So 53... Okay. Anyway... So what were my 3 wishes? Well, my 3 wishes were, 1, that the Vorstand give us a real history of the 20th century instead of the fake history. And the Garish article does a little bit of that. I also wanted the councils in America to actually put the study of America at the forefront. Instead of us studying Europe and making ourselves into little mini European anthroposophists, we might actually gain something from studying our own culture. Hello? It's not heavy-duty brain work to understand that this needs to happen. But anyway, in my book, American Anthroposophy, I have to explain all that in laborious detail. And my friend William Bento said it was bitter medicine for the Anthroposophical Society to hear that stuff. Well, maybe. Well, the stuff that's going to come out now is going to be really bitter medicine because it's going to have a wider range of people looking at it, and it's going to disturb some people, and good. Okay? I mean to disturb them. Alright, I got a few more minutes here. Okay, so where the heck are we? Well, you know, I published this Outlaw Anthroposophy, and then I put it on the internet, on my website. And I was just creating my first website. I think it was called The Narrow Gate, which is from the Gospels. Enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the way that leads to perdition, and few there are who find it, or something. I don't know. You can look it up. Well, my Outlaw Anthroposophy wasn't on the internet for very long when two very interesting things happened. This German guy called me, or got a hold of me on the internet, he didn't call me, and said he wanted to translate the two articles, the article on the epistemological swampland and the article on whether the society is living, into German, and publish them in a thing that was called the Yearbook of Anthroposophical Criticism. So he did. It showed me that some people thought it was important stuff to be said. And then the other thing was that Bob from Bob and Nancy's Waldorf website got a hold of me, and he wanted to make a mirror of that material in his website. So I think that's still true. If you go to the Bob and Nancy's bookstore and stuff on the internet, and you go to the anthroposophical section, anthroposophy, somewhere in there you'll find that material, Outlaw Anthroposophy, those essays. Plus an introductory material by them, I think a little bit on why they think this stuff is important. So it isn't like I was just, you know, making noise in the dark and nobody understood what I was saying. You really have to understand that just so there can be institutional religion, there's institutional anthroposophy. An institutional anthroposophy and the creation of this anthroposophical society culture is a product of the activity of the doubles. And we've got to wake up to this stuff. We've got to recognize that we need a sort of a 12-step movement, you know, to get over ourselves. We need to surrender to the higher forces that want to help us. And we need to confess and be contrite. And then we need to practice and be of service. Wash the feet. You know. But the middle part, the heart of it, is confession and contriteness. We have to, and this is true whether you're an individual spiritually striving person or someone who's involved in something as complicated as the Anthroposophical Society. You have to look back over your life with brutal self-honesty and say, I screwed up. And any kind of society that wants to be a living esoteric society has, as a community, to be able to look back on the past and say, we screwed up. The people in the Vorstand, when Steiner died, screwed up. We're screwing up today. The 12 steps isn't about you recover and you're over it and now you're perfect. You're in recovery. You continue to screw up. Profound spiritual soul development ideas live in the 12 steps. More later.